So do you need a reminder, not like a schedule reminder, but a reminder of who you are and who God is? Sometimes we need that reminder. Today we're going to talk about a reminder, one that we may not welcome too often, but a reminder that is needed.
My name is Pete, and this is my lovely wife, Shauna, and we're ordained ministers in the Church of God, and on a daily basis we invite you into our home to share in our Bible study and discipleship process. Today we're talking about 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 7 through 10. And as Shauna mentioned, this is a very powerful scripture because it talks about the Apostle Paul and something he had to endure to keep him humble. The scripture says, "And lest I should exalt myself above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought God thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in your weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities than that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in my infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then he is strong."
So we know that the scripture before that, the Apostle Paul is letting the Corinthian church know that he has been, whether in the body or out of the body, he experienced the third heaven. There are things that he's seen that were phenomenal, but he says that there are things that he heard that it wasn't even lawful for him to repeat. So the Apostle Paul then says, okay, so I've heard and seen these glorious things, and I know what is ahead of me. So in order to keep me humble, in order to keep me grounded where I need to be and focused, the Lord sent me a thorn in the flesh.
Actually, it said the Lord allowed Satan to buffet him.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Job encounter where God allowed Satan to buffet Job, and but in this instance, he used it in a way to keep Paul humble. What he must have seen, what he must have heard, what he must have experienced must have been a tremendous, tremendous thing for there to be a need for such a thing, to keep him low to the ground, to keep him doing the work of the Lord, to keep him not feeling elevated or above other individuals. And one of the things that we have to realize as Christians is that humbleness is a calling for us all. It's easy to get haughty, it's easy to get high-minded, it's easy to think that you're better than someone else, or we look at it as wealthy people looking down on individuals. You know what? Religious people love to look down on other people because they keep the commandments better. They put more money in the offering plate. They go to church more often than everybody else. And before you know it, they're getting high and mighty, and they're elevated, and their haughty hearts are leading them astray. And this is something that the Paul had a constant reminder of. I'm not going down that path.
It's true. Today I was in prayer, and something that came to my heart and my mind is there is a saying people say, I'm fighting a losing battle. That they think that there's always, no matter how hard they fight, there's a defeat at the end. But see, what the Apostle Paul was able to see and what God revealed to him is he's fighting a winning battle. He's seen the result of what was to come, and he's seen what we all have been promised, and he heard what we've all been promised and the glories of that, and he is able to stay focused. But like Pete said, sometimes we can get puffed up within ourselves and truly lose focus. It's important for us to stay low to the ground. It's important for us to stay humble and to understand that that humility is going to really keep us grounded and help us to win others to Christ.
There's some popular scriptures there in verse 9 too that's very popular. My grace is sufficient for thee. Right? We need to know that no matter what we go through, the grace and mercy that Jesus gives us is sufficient, because like Shauna said, we're winners. It may not look like we're winning on this earth. It may not look like physically we're winning. It may look like we're losing or being beat down, but in actuality we're winners. We come out on top. Then that follows up with, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. And that's God speaking to him, saying, look, when you're weak, I can be powerful, because you have to trust in me. You can't do it on your own. You have to trust in the Lord for the power and strength to come through for those. So those are two really good scriptures there in verse 9 that are right back to back and give us a mindset of what a Christian should be like. We should be trusting in the grace of God, right? We can't earn it. There's nothing we can do to earn our salvation. It all depends upon the work of Jesus Christ. And then the fact that if we do have a weakness, then God can use that for His glory. And His power can be magnified through that weakness.
And think about it too. Paul had this thorn in the flesh, this thing that buffeted him. And it says that he asked 3 times for it to be removed. When there are things in my life that I don't want there or that make me uncomfortable or even sickness or whatever it might be, I basically don't stop at 3 times.
No.
So
we keep going and going.
We keep going.
We're the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, because we really, I guess at some point, I'll just be honest. I mean, I can really whine to God,
But Paul must have got an answer. He must have knew this is the Lord's will. There's no sense in fighting it. There's no sense in trying to get rid of it because He wants it to be there.
Well, my next point is the fact that God gives us an answer, but it's not an answer we want to hear. So we just keep asking and keep going and keep begging and keep whining. But the Apostle Paul didn't. He received that answer. My grace is sufficient. And it may not have even been the answer that the Apostle Paul wanted, but it was the answer that he accepted and he lived with and he trusted in.
I just saved the puppy's life.
Oh,
he was chewing on the computer cord underneath the table, and I saved his life. I'm a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding. But hey, keep in mind, we got to stay humble. What we have to do is remember that Christ is everything and we are nothing. Right? We're nothing without Him. We're lost without Him. There is no hope of salvation. Mm-hmm. But going forward this week, let's remember, hey, each day we're going to live intentionally for Jesus Christ and be a disciple. And we believe there's 4 things that a disciple will do every day. And Shauna, those 4 things are? You're
going to exalt God, encounter God, edify yourself with the reading of the Word, and engage the world for Christ. So until next time, may God bless you.
God bless.